150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses, presented by Saratoga Water. He's the Big A, Anthony Stabile. I'm Andy Serling. A glorious Sunday. It's a little warm, but there's a nice breeze up here.
Breeze is great. The summer breeze is fantastic. You ignored my summer breeze comment yesterday, but it's back. I think it came back to remind you that I was right about the summer breeze, so I'm happy about it.
You're really cornballing it up to this morning. That's your second cornball comment since I came up to the desk. I'm just glad for you didn't hear his first one. I can tell you it was embarrassing.
Andy, a stitch in time saves 9. That's all I can tell you.
All right, so let's head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, why would you not want to be a member of Naira Bets?
Is the law.
You get a $25 free bet, and we will match the $200 of your initial deposit. Use the promo code Belmont25. Become a member of Naira Bets and keep the money in the game. Support racing in New York. Play through Naira Bets. Playing through Naira Bets today, if you bet $50 or more on Belmont, Churchill, and Pimlico, $15 bonus. We'll be showing those Belmont and Churchill Downs races all day long, 12:30 to 5:30. Actually, the show is on FS2 from 12:30 to 3 and then 4 to 5:30. I know, but you can go to YouTube and you can watch. You can watch it on YouTube from 3 to 4. It'd still be available to you. So it is available. Anthony, what's going on?
What time are you on today?
I am on roughly 3:30 to 5:30.
Okay. Nothing's going on. What could be going on? Beautiful day. I like the card. Fun card today. Don't forget, we're not here on Thursday. So we have 4 days, and then we go to the Friday to Monday schedule for Memorial Day weekend. And then Tuesday, June 1st, we have the draw for the 153rd Belmont Stakes, and that sensational card. Belmont Stakes Racing Festival comes ahead. What are you bobbing your head?
Yeah, I'm just listening along.
Ready to roll, man. It's that time of year. Less than 2 weeks till Belmont. I'm excited. I think I got my Belmont horse.
Why would anybody have a horse they like in a race 13 days from now?
I pride myself.
You don't want to see who's in the race, absolutely, what post they draw, how the speed plays out. Just make a pick 2 weeks before. Why not? You pride yourself on making picks 2 weeks before races? I pride myself on not
I've had early Belmont.
I've
had my Belmont winners much in advance.
You might have had even more if you'd waited longer.
Maybe.
Race number 1 today. There is a heavy favorite that we both picked on top, and a very likely winner in the 2 Straw of Gold into Gold. We'll take a look at Rumpelstiltskin, but we'll start, though, with the other horse out of the race,
Very good.
the number 7, Regal Speaker, who gets kind of cut off coming out of the start and taken out to last. And it is worth knowing that Danny Gargan came sort of alive yesterday, but that was the horse that was at least coming off a bit of a freshening. And I wish Regal Speaker did more run.
The first one ran well in the last race, too, yesterday.
I don't disagree. I put the horse second, Regal Speaker. I think he will run well today, but I know this horse had a good trip and kind of hung a little bit. And he ran well despite my telling Christophe Clement in the paddock that I thought he'd run really well today. And he said, because those trainers. I just think he sits a good trip. He might even be the speed in here. And he should be the speed in here, right?
Yeah, Joel's going to. I would imagine Joel Rosario, who was aboard for the maiden win, climbs back aboard today for the first time since that day, is just going to put this horse on a lead today. And with that race off the bench, should prove very, very tough this afternoon.
Your second pick, my third pick, is the second-time star Grape Nuts Warrior. And it's interesting, as we show Grape Nut Warrior winning last time, Grape Nuts Warrior and Agent Creed, the 6 and 7 this race, come out of the same divisions or different divisions, the same race. on April 23rd, and they both ran very similar races. I will say that Asian Creed got a faster pace and ran a slower final time, and Grape Nuts Warrior a slower pace and a faster final time, so he probably ran the better of the two. I could use him, but I think he'd have to improve to beat a horse like Straw of Gold.
That's what split those two for me. I put them second and third. Plus, I like the fact that this was Grape Nuts Warrior was doing it on debut, whereas Asian Creed had a race under his belt. Yeah, they're probably both running.
What's the difference?
Well, I think horses naturally, for the most part, improve second time out, and
some don't. Some run their best races first time.
I said for the most part.
Maybe Great Nuts Warrior
Agent Creed obviously ran. Agent Creed obviously ran better with the experience under his belt.
Well, he didn't do any running
time.
In his first start, so it's not like he even improved. It's just a completely different horse.
I would imagine Grape Nuts Warrior.
Maybe it's a completely different horse now.
Runs as well, if not improve. I think, but they both need to improve considerably.
You should write a book on like old. Is it old wives' tales? Is that what it is?
No, it's not wives. They're not wives' tales.
Yeah, they are. And you should write a book, Old Wives' Tales of Racing, Things to Avoid. That would be like. I think
what do we got
could be
next?
the book.
Philly, English Breeze, Philly trying the boys. I guess I don't know. Philly race didn't go.
Found the spot. I don't think she's totally impossible.
I don't either.
I think she'll get a piece. Race number 2. Well, you love that horse.
I do. I'm a fan. I like
race number 2. I believe Anthony Bella Principessa. We'll take a look at Bella Principessa finishing 3rd and Adriatic Rose finishing 5th last time. Why do you prefer Bella Principessa to Adriatic Rose?
Well, I didn't originally like anybody out of this race, and then Emma and I came back and won our finale yesterday.
Does that flatter that
I
race?
Reluctantly. I mean, I don't know what it does. I don't know what it does. I really don't know what it does.
I think you should pay attention to the horse in the rail. I don't believe that Adriana Rose was at all comfortable being down and inside. I thought she really didn't look like she wanted to be buried down in there, and I don't think she ran that well. And I'm a big Louis Cardenas fan. Louis, I think, does this say the last day of his bug, or has he lost his bug?
No, it's next. I think it's
this horse doesn't have an apprentice allowance.
Oh.
So I have a feeling he's lost his bug.
Oh, maybe he did.
I like Louis a lot, as you know. I think he's a good rider. I think that Louis needs to. I know that when you're an apprentice, people want you to stay on the rail to a fault. I think Louis needs to start amending that and not gluing himself to the rail. He got in trouble with that horse down the inside the other day on the turf.
Hilliard.
Yeah, and I just think sometimes you don't always glue yourself to the rail, and especially when you're riding at Belmont Park, and especially when you're on the Widener or the main track. Saving ground can help, but it's not the be-all and end-all it is on some other courses. And I think Adriatic Rose deserves a chance to maybe get to the outside. And I know she draws the rail, but she should be able to get to the outside. And that's why I thought she would run better in her second race off a laugh.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Not that Bella Principessa can't win. I'm very surprised. You are the champ. You are the head of the Jimmy Bond fan club, and yet you didn't have Bertinga anywhere in here. And I thought Bertinga was actually kind of interesting in this race.
Yeah,
Is Bertinga the speed in a race where you kind of want to be in front? Though I guess Madame Rose will go because Gary Richards always goes.
That horse is going to. Right.
He goes with dead closers.
Right, and I think that's kind of the problem for Bertinga. Blinkers come off. Bertinga second off the layoff. Well, you have to assume
could sit
that
second to horse with no chance.
She could. I don't know.
I don't think that Louis Size is getting into a protracted speed duel with Madame Rose.
I would hope not. The blinkers come off, though, and maybe you're right. Maybe they're trying to get her off the pace, and they'll have a target with Madame Rose in the race.
You tried her last time.
I did try her last time.
Didn't give her any return.
I mean,
those Temple Cities.
Nobody would support. Yeah.
You're off the Jimmy Bond.
Temple City Terror last night.
That was a good call.
Thanks.
I watched. I was excited to see you win.
She can win. Yeah, I mean.
I just didn't see anybody else in this race.
I have very little confidence in anybody in this race.
I watched the 4, Little Miss Scarlet, and she just really did no running at all last time. Just kind of. I mean, I will say that Eric took her completely out of the race, as he does in so many of those turf sprints. But
I do wonder, and I know it sounds ridiculous if you look at her 2 running lines. I wonder if she's a little bit more forward today with Michael Leslie, because, like you said, it kind of looked like she won't
be left.
Yeah,
Eric.
I wouldn't be surprised.
She takes turf spinners out of the race all the time.
She's got a little bit of a fuzzy feel to her, where maybe stretching out to the 7, maybe it'll help her cause of getting a little bit of a more aggressive rider.
What about the 10 quiet type? It was wide last time. I just don't know if that horse is any good, but in this field, I wouldn't discount anybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the 1 and 7 here. That's who I like. Race number 3. It's a little windy up here. It's kind of nice. The air conditioning is working upstairs in my office again. It's a little bit better.
Nice. Mine's not.
You weren't in your office.
I was in my office all day Thursday.
Wasn't working?
No.
Oh. So, in honor of Anthony picking Tapazierance, let's go back 2 races for Tapazierance, the last dirt race. Or this is, I think this is 2 back. Social Group's finishing 4th, I believe, and
yes.
Tapazierance runs a good second. Have at it.
Good. I mean, if this horse can come back and run this race, he's going to win.
Well, no, if he runs back and runs this race, he's one of the 2 likeliest winners. I don't know if he's going to win.
Yeah, I guess it's a Storm's.
Yes. He's not running faster figures.
It's a Storm.
You don't have to like there's a Storm
I think
brewing.
it's a Storm's brewing better with some moisture in the ground.
I don't agree with you, but that's fine. But you say he's going to win. No. If he runs that race, he and the Storm's brewing are clearly the 2 likeliest winners.
But he is clearly faster on fast tracks than it's a Storm's brewing.
We'll get to a Storm.
There is a Storm brewing.
You and I are on a very different page with that.
Okay.
Crap. So you can say you can believe it. That's fine. But I don't agree with it.
Okay.
Because
I also feel like,
frankly, let me just interject. There's a 77 buyer, which is 1 point below the one you said, and 1 point below the one on a muddy track. So it's randomness.
No. I'm saying Tapazierance is better than there is a Storm brewing on a fast track.
Not clear. But forgetting about that.
Well, one horse.
Tapazierance is 2 for 21 lifetime with 9
He
seconds
is.
and thirds. He is a proven hanger. That's a fact. I'm not saying he can't win, and he's one of a couple of very likely winners in here. But he's got a lot of hang in him, Anthony.
He does.
That to me supersedes all the wet track, dry track nonsense.
Well, he also figures to sit a better trip than there is a Storm brewing because whereas there is a Storm brewing is the controlling speed.
There's a Storm brewing is so much faster than this race. He's in a controlling position. That's a silly comment. That's a nonsensical comment, an indefensibly bad comment.
I cannot imagine Liam's Fire is letting him get too far away.
It doesn't matter, Anthony. One horse is clearly the fastest horse, and he is in a controlling position. Tapazierance is a horse that is that can potentially be victims of pace, and he's a hanger. I'm not saying that he can't win because he can, and I picked him second, and I don't have a big problem with him. But to say that he's supposed to get a better trip than there's a Storm brewing is nonsensical when you're talking about dirt racing.
That's your opinion.
No. It's actually true.
No, it's not true.
It is true. Because, first of all, dirt racing is conducive to speed horses. Second of all, there are rarely contested fast paces around here. So is it possible that there will be some crazy set of circumstances? Their Storm brewing will get left. Something happens? Of course there is.
But I don't
in
reality,
reality, if you were to make an actual diagram of the likely events here, the likeliest events is there is a Storm brewing, controls in the front end, and Tapazierance is victimized by it. Then there's some wild pace that blows up their Storm brewing.
I cannot imagine Liam's Fire is letting him get too far away.
You've been saying for 2 years, you've been imagining these fast paces. Every time I say it to you, once in 2 years, were you right?
Can't remember.
Once.
I just can't imagine this horse is going to let him get too far away.
You just don't. You refuse to get it. You refuse to get. You're the stubbornest person I've ever met.
He's got an.
You're the stubbornest
man.
When
Mike Luzzie's on a horse with speed, do they win aggressively? Always.
Anthony, that horse couldn't keep up with this. There's Storm brewing. Les Luz is in a full-out drive. I'm not saying that he may not go, but there's a Storm brewing.
You have to include intent, Andy.
Anthony.
There has to be intent,
Anthony, you're so wrong about paces every time we argue about it, and you continue to do it. I don't understand it. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't know why you don't adjust.
I also don't understand. I also don't understand why.
Okay, we just disagree. Let's move on.
That's fine. I also just don't understand why there is a Storm brewing.
I don't love there's a Storm brewing, but once again, I believe there are 2 major contenders. I don't particularly like anybody else, and I want the one that figures to have the better trip because he's the controlling speed.
Okay.
And I know if over and over again there's 2 likely winners and one is a deeper closer
and
one
has
more speed
on the dirt.
The speed wins 90% of the time.
Okay.
90%.
Right.
It's not even close.
Okay.
And that's a fact. That's a fact of dirt racing. It's a fact of the way races are run around here. I'm not saying Liam's Fire couldn't be aggressive in here. I'm not saying it's not possible. There's Storm Bruno stuck outside of him, but he's faster. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't love there's a Storm brewing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the world's biggest fan of this horse, and I do get what you're saying about Tapazierance. My problem with Tapazierance, he's got a lot of.
He don't win.
He's just.
But none of them. They're all in for the 3 life condition, and they just don't win. I know some of them have lost.
Well,
less
Social
than some
Group
of the
is
others.
only 2 for 6, so you want to argue. My problem with Social Group is, I just don't think he's really good enough.
Yeah, I didn't understand the cutback last time for a horse that had never sprinted before. I guess they were just trying something new.
But he was terrible.
He was awful.
But that's not. You can't say it was 6.5 furlongs. The reason he ran so badly, he was backing
I'll
up
tell
at
you
6.5.
if that wasn't the reason, he's in an awful lot of trouble.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
But what about the last race suggests to you that he ran as badly as he did because it was 6.5 furlongs? Help me, please.
Listen, some of these horses
Help me. Give me a logical
He
explanation.
was closer
To a walking pace.
to a slower,
to a dawdling
he
pace.
was closer to a pace sprinting than he was going long. Yeah, I know.
He was actually running slower fractions the time before that. Now, I'm not saying I haven't looked at the, how quick the track was playing those days, but he was closer to a faster pace the time before that. So I'd be very careful with that. Yeah. Maybe he bounces back, but he ran so badly.
Yeah.
And Pier 40, I know he won last time.
I like Tapazirans a lot today.
Good luck to you.
I like
Race
Tapazirans
number
a lot
4
today.
kicks off the pick 6. No carryover. Thought this was an interesting race. I guess Clever Fell will be favored. Hell, he's the horse that I picked second that I hated. I hated him. Pick second. All those horses I picked second that I hate. If you're trying to make points and you need to lie to do it, you're just a liar. I will say this is a case where Irad probably moved too soon. And where Agent Creed, and we talked about this, in the faster pace, was able to take advantage of that and run it down. I think Clever Fell ran the best race, and he's the likeliest winner here. I just don't need Chad Brown and Irad Ortiz at a super short price in a competitive race. And he's got 3 seconds. Chad Brown horse with 3 seconds find ways to run second again.
The reason I did not put this horse on top was the fact that this horse he's kind of found ways to lose.
But he is the horse to beat.
He's the horse to beat. He's no question the horse to beat. But he's kind of found ways to lose. So I just went with I
variety ways to lose. Well, you didn't go the fuzzy. You went the horse.
No,
with
not
pedigree.
fuzzy. I just went in a different direction.
Go ahead,
with
Shinjuku.
the half to Voodoo Song, and even Worth a Shot. It was 3 for 5 with 2 seconds. I don't know where he went. He must have got hurt. He disappeared. He was all right. He won some. He never missed a board. He never missed the exacta. They were the only two. I found this strange. The first 4 foals did not try turf. They put Voodoo Song on the turf. And then Singapore Traders, the other
Japan
half.
as a sire for turf?
I don't know.
That's going to scare
I don't
me
know. Yeah, he's a son of Medaglia d'Oro.
Is he going to be 6-1 this horse? Yeah,
no,
I don't think so.
He probably won't be 6-1.
I think I'm
he
not.
Probably won't.
I am absolutely using this horse. There's no question in my mind. I am using this horse. But the horse that I actually we'll show the race that Neuro, because listen, Neuro ran fine. The problem with Neuro is he's run 11 times, and I'm not allowed to pick Bobby Roboto horses anymore. You thought he was going to win that race the other day, and I was going to text you and torture you if you didn't. For those that don't know, Anthony teased me about picking Bobby Roboto horses over the winter, so I'm no longer.
I have a new trainer, by the way.
Barring myself.
I'm waiting for one or two more.
No. We'll get to it. Anyhow, I thought I'm going to say, and I think you want
big race.
He ran well in here.
Ran a
he
big
really
race.
did run well. And he's the horse to beat. The problem is he's 0 for 11. He's 0 for 7 in the turf.
You know what's weird?
His best race was off a little.
When we talked about this in the opener, Agent Creed and the Grape Nuts Warrior, they were like the races were exactly the same.
They both had fast paces. And
both had fast paces. Both ran down a horse that made the lead probably a little too soon. It was amazing.
A really good segue to the horse that I picked.
Here we go. Ball 14.
Bar 14. I'm going to take. I know the pace doesn't look super fast, but they ran off from the field. I thought he ran very well stretching out. The problem is he's now got to go a mile 16th. I get all of that. He is the speed in here. Maybe the pace heats up again. I'm going to hope that it doesn't.
He went fast early last time.
He really did. They really were moving early, and you know me.
He went fast early
I'm
last
always
time.
a sucker for the horse that was the one in the pace scenarios. It works. It works relative to the odds. I don't have a lot of confidence in him, and I think he'll run better than his odds. But I'm going to take.
I would imagine.
What would you imagine, Anthony?
If he faces any pressure, it would be twofold from Shinjuku. I think if Shinjuku can run on the turf at all, he's going to be forward.
Okay. We'll agree to disagree. That's fine. We'll agree to disagree. Anyhow.
He doesn't, but if he doesn't, I don't think this horse is going to have any trouble on the front end today.
He may just not be able to get a mile 16.
He just might not be able to go.
Anybody else that you liked in this race?
No.
Okay. I tell you what, I'm going to make a bet with you. We're at 75.
Oh,
I won 2 yesterday.
I thought Ocala Dream from my man Morley was a little interesting.
Yeah, I hate
just
him.
Off the layoff.
I thought it was terrible
last time.
That's the bet I want to make. I'll take 5 over 4.
Sure.
For a lunch.
Okay. What did we do yet? Did we do anything?
I won
yesterday?
2. You were right. Tom Morley's horse ran very well in the stakes.
Oh,
the problem is the horse you left out of your top 4 that I took won. 5 over 4. I couldn't resist. Late pick 5 kicks off in race number 5. Hieroglyphics is way the horse to beat in here. I knew there was no chance that Anthony wouldn't pick the same horse as me in here because it's impossible to trust Hieroglyphics in here. We'll go back to his race in November when he got a perfect trip and won. He was in good form. Then he found some tough spots, and I don't care. He did 2 miles last time. He's way the horse to beat. I don't want to pick him on top, so I picked out most of the other horse. There's really nobody else to pick in here, is
Nobody
there?
else to pick in here. Nobody else. The only other horse you can even mention in here, I think, is Smile Brian, because it's Noda when Noda's going good. And if you have horses like Hieroglyphics and Utmost, one horse is coming off one race in 30 months and the other horse is coming off another break from December, I think the only other horse you could even...
If this horse, Smile Brian, wins this race, I will tell you, seriously, you won't be able to hear their screeching, their childish screeching, over the screeching that I'll be doing if this horse wins. Smile Brian. Speaking of horses that don't like to win.
I mean, you don't have to, Andy, you don't have to tell me.
Sir's just won a $12,000 claiming race down at Gulfstream. I hear you. I understand what you're saying, and you have a theory.
Say that one more time. That horse just won, and that's it.
This horse
Listen,
this
I'm
horse,
just okay.
There should be an investigation if this horse wins. How can this horse possibly win?
Well, I mean,
where's this race?
okay,
that's
but
even
hold on
the
a second.
page?
There are glaring holes in both Hieroglyphics and Utmost.
Okay, then he won't beat Crypto Cash. Galloped last time.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
may have won a bad race.
I'm going to say this.
He won't beat
I
Baru.
don't disagree.
Why
with
would he
you.
beat Baru? Okay, I hear you. I get it. You know, I get it, but I don't have any interest in this horse whatsoever.
I mean,
this horse is the silliest horse in the race, in my opinion. But I hear you. Okay. Listen, that's fine. As far as Utmost, he's second off of a 2-year layoff, a year-and-a-half layoff.
2.5 years. You were right the first time.
2.5 years. Thank you, yeah.
30 months.
Right. He didn't really run that badly off the rail trying to chase last time. They're dropping him. He's got plenty of good races.
I mean, those are stakes horses compared to this field.
Jonathan Thomas dropped down because didn't run great yesterday. Didn't run badly. Was chasing a runoff winner and won with the one the other day, I think, before it. So he's just kind of dropping horses where they belong, and we'll hope that he can still run a little bit.
See, Honey Money's a little weird because Honey Money was the first time out of his barn, right? That horse, Linda ran that horse on the turf, and then they transferred the horse. This horse coming back from 1.25 miles, too. I mean, 1.25 miles off 30 months, now 1 16th, against much lesser than when he ran against last time. I think they'll be closer on the tote. I know Hieroglyphics has won a good deal of races and before going to the bench. I think they'll probably be closer on the tote because they're going to see the drop, the cutback, Rosario. And on paper, it looks like it's very hard to get past those two, but I'm not leaving that barn out right now, especially when they're going to be 10-1. I'm just not doing it. Sorry. Sorry, my man. Empty Tomb beat me last night. I'm not going to let that's one of my boys, one of my pets. I'm not going to let a hot barn like this beat me at 10-1.
Yeah, I could leave for a few minutes. You could
no
just
shot.
Rant and go on.
No sirree, Bob.
You can.
No sirree,
if you
Andy.
want, I'll go to the bathroom or something.
We have
and you
plenty
just
of
keep
time.
Talking. No, I don't want to interrupt this stream of consciousness by you.
I'm good. That's all I'm going to say. You make a lot of good points about Crypto Cash and Baru being the other two logical horses, but at that price, the way the barn's going, I'm not letting that horse beat me.
Okay. There you have it. Anything else you need? Let's take a break. Anthony needs to catch his breath.
Anything, sip of water.
Let's hear from Saratoga Water. We'll be right back.
Make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Big A Anthony Stabile.
Hello.
Race number 6. We'll show the last race Mr. Phil ran, and you'll tell us why you like him.
Boy, he's getting into the starter allowance races. This horse, and this was a fantastic pick by you running this horse down. This horse ran too good to lose last time.
I got lucky.
Too good to lose last time.
I got lucky. Mr. Phil was an hour the best.
I mean,
got involved in a wicked pace duel, and my horse got a perfect ride by Trevor. Trevor riding this weekend?
Perfect ride. I don't know. I haven't been paying any attention out there. This might be the transition weekend.
Making a cross-country trek. He's driving across country.
Oh, then.
He may have made it. He left Monday, he said. I'm going to guess he didn't get there in time.
I think he's going to do great out there.
So do I.
I think he's going to do great out there.
Good rider.
I'll tell you what.
I think he'll do great wherever he rides.
This was some race last time.
He ran very well. I agree. He's a new horse. I'll tell you something else about him being a new horse. He's become a new horse when they've gotten aggressive with him.
No question about it.
He is a totally different horse when they've been aggressive.
No question about it.
He always had a little ability. I always kind of liked this horse, but he's a better horse when they've been aggressive. And let that be a lesson to you, trainers out there.
And
You know who else was a better horse when he got aggressive with him? Gun Runner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And, I mean, this horse supposed to be gone in here. He's just faster. He's just faster than these horses.
Yeah, no,
And if he comes back to that last race, man.
He runs his last race, he's going to win this race. Now, is he going to run it? I don't know. You know,
I don't either.
He's got a little that last time with him, you know, and he almost won, and he should have won. It's a frustrating game. And we'll look at Indian Counselor. I don't have a big problem with Indian Counselor, and we'll show him being Dangerous Edge, who came back with a win in his next start, where he buried a sort of suspect field. I'm not going to knock Indian Counselor. He lost to a better horse last time and lost in Rome. And to me, he's clearly the second horse. You don't like this horse at all?
So I have him third.
Were you about to say, here's the thing?
Here's my biggest
I think
problem.
that you were about to say, here's the thing.
I was.
You were.
I
you caught yourself.
pulled up.
That was good.
Here's my biggest problem with him.
Here's the thing.
He's kind of a one-paced horse. And I don't know. I know 7/8 isn't as tough as the 6. I don't know if sprinting is going to be for him. Like Mr. Phil is fast. Mr. Phil.
I think he's a better horse closing this horse, and I think they've been too aggressive with him, to be honest.
Okay. Oh, maybe you're right. See, that's weird though, because
who do you have second if not Uncle Moonlight?
Yeah, I thought Uncle Moonlight. You know what?
And fourth because I had nobody else to put there.
Were Uncle Moonlight's races that bad last year? I mean,
no.
I know he found a bad.
No, he's not that.
You know what I mean?
Well, he didn't. Risk Profile did win off the claim and improved his fire figure 16 points.
But you could say
Wouldn't this be a horse that you would say, it was a wet track?
Well, no, because he ran a 74.
You're very random with these wet tracks.
But
Which wet tracks matter?
Hold on a second. I think I could argue that maybe the blinkers have helped him. The thing that helped him the most was being away for 7 months. You
always find something silly to argue.
He was away for 7 months. And he was in special weight races, and he ran for a tag first time, and now he's in the starter allowance race. I thought he made a lot of sense. With he doesn't have a lot of speed. I think he'll be picking up some pieces late in here. I don't know. David doesn't necessarily. He's 4-1. There's no great shakes. It was 4-1, more than one. He's a third choice.
No, I'm just teasing you. I don't think he's going to beat the one. But
I thought he was okay.
We can bet a lunch.
Year.
I'll take 1 over 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, now we're talking.
We could do that. Yeah, I'm gonna play this exacta. I'm betting a 3-5 in here.
Okay.
Little reverse.
Okay. Will you be with Phil? Does Phil love Mr. Phil?
I'll be here for a little while today.
Is Phil a lover of Mr. Phil? He strikes me as an unsentimental guy.
He's not a hunch guy. He won't play a horse because his name's in it.
So he's not as insane as you
He'll
are.
bet on. He was a big Gary Bain fan. He'll bet anything was Gary Bain used to ride.
Gary Bain.
But he won't bet like Mr. Phil.
Is Gary still riding at all?
No, I don't think so. Gary's in his early 60s. Not that means anything, but I don't think he rides anymore. But if Gary Bain paid $58, Phil had 5 to win.
Gary Bain paid $58. It was probably the shortest priced horse he had ridden in 3 months. Not to knock Gary Bain.
I'm trying to think of one of his. He's got another favorite now. I can't think of who it is.
Race number 7.
He is a big Trevor McCarthy fan.
Race number 7.
Yes.
Let's discuss my favorite horse that I'm always wrong about, Mapolka. I've been more wrong about Mapolka more times. Mapolka is like I become Anthony Stabile when Mapolka runs.
Last time was ridiculous.
A stubborn clown. I agree. Now, wouldn't you argue though that she's going to get some pressure? Isn't the 6 supposed to go?
If she's in front of these,
in front of the 6,
if she's in front of this field, I give up.
Yeah, I agree.
She's not that fast.
She's not fast. I agree with you. She's not.
She's not that fast. That race against Mirabella May last year, there was just no other speed in the race.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
and I think
Kemba's
supposed to go on the outside.
Supposed to go too.
And I think Lacroix, Valmer, whatever is. I mean, Johnny goes, and that horse is just coming out of sprints. Is just faster than this horse. I mean, you got to think Kimmel's going to want to be in front with that horse. So, okay, I'm ready. What do you possibly like about Our Little Jewel?
What's so impossible about Our Little Jewel?
Oh, a lot of things. But go ahead.
Okay. So how many races has Barika won in her life? When she got away from horses that she couldn't beat, Valletta wound up winning 3 races for Danny Gargan down at Gulfstream, ran well at Keeneland. Barika's won. Barika's finally retired, by the way. She's in full.
Do you want to really discuss her last? Why don't you discuss her last race?
Her last race, listen, she beat nothing.
No, she didn't beat nothing. She beats
nothing.
Do you realize what else happened in that race? The other horse that was involved in the ridiculously slow pace with her, the saddle slipped on that horse.
Yeah, I remember something.
I'm just bringing that up as
there's no shot she's on the lead today. Zero.
there's
She
also
found
no shot
herself
she's in a winner's
unbelievable.
circle.
I don't know. I don't know why you can say that.
I don't like her at all. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you, and my defense of my horse is thin. So I'm just teasing you because I found this race excruciatingly
I mean,
difficult.
I just felt like she was running against better horses, and then last time she found horses she could beat. And
Well, she
under
was in
ideal
the worst
circumstances, she
turf
beat them.
race we'll run
She beat
this
them.
year that isn't a maiden race.
I don't disagree.
I mean, that was-
She beat them. But what I'm saying is, she also did it. You know, I know.
Well, by walking on the front end when the
Yeah,
other speed saddle slipped. That's how she did it. Just
I think she gets her usual trip in here off the speed, and I don't
she
know.
figures to be
I
about
felt like
second to last,
I felt like
but-
she found another easier bunch than she had been facing.
Easier than last time?
No. Than she had been facing.
okay. We just disagree. That's fine. I'm not gonna. I don't want to go into a big thing because I don't have a strong opinion.
Yeah, it's hard to have a strong opinion.
I
Yeah, I
don't
just
like
think
Mapolka either, but I never like Mapolka, and I'm never right. So I've sort of lost the right to have an anti-Mapolka opinion. I'm scared of Summer in the City. Todd seems to come off these long layoffs, and they seem to run quite often. She's obviously not very good, but I would use her in here. I would use Rosie Holiday, who was behind a pace that held together and obviously improved. On turf.
I thought about putting
I would
Rosie
use
Ho-
Kemba.
I thought about putting Rosie Holiday. I thought about putting Rosie Holiday on top.
Okay, here's my Mirabella me speech, and feel free to laugh. I got no problem with that. Tell you what's interesting about Mirabella May. Me or May?
I would go with May.
May, Mirabella May.
There's an eye there for a reason.
Mirabella May, as a horse who's a deep closer, without question, the single best course for her in New York is the Widener because it features faster paces and more fairly run races. She has run on the inner at Saratoga twice. She has run on the inner at Belmont in a race that was a merry-go-round race with a slow pace, and then she ran Aqueduct on the inner. She's finally getting a chance in a race that figures to have at least an honest pace to run in the Widener.
And the race at Belmont
I don't-
on the inner was probably her best race.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't her fastest
Well, I don't
race
care about that.
figures, but it was probably her best race.
She's run races that make her a contender in here if she can run them. I don't have any confidence in her whatsoever. Do not get me wrong. But I'm looking through this race, and for me, it's like I could probably make a case for Summer in the City. I didn't think Killer Dress was impossible, but I didn't think she was quite fast enough. I don't like your horse, but I'm not gonna. This race. I'm not gonna do anything. Mapolka. I'm not gonna bet against her. She may win 20 straight races. I'll lose 20 straight races. And I could make that case for her. I want to give her one chance on a course that's supposed to be more favorable for her. I don't think it's. This might be one of those theories that if you said it and I were here, I'd be saying, "Oh, you're an idiot." So I get it, but that's where I'm going, for better or worse.
Okay.
I don't like your horse, but I have no argument with this race is a very, very tricky race.
I also, in races like this, I would imagine, and I don't have my figures on this, but I would imagine I tend to lean towards horses that have multiple wins. So I got her first, Mapolka third.
I'm going to say trip is key. I know it's one of your favorite axioms in racing. Trip is key.
Trip is key, Andy.
By the way, there will be a race run in America at some point this year that has less speed on paper than today's 8th race, but I really hope I don't have to handicap it. I mean, this one's unbelievable, right? The entire field will be closing.
So, if you know me at all, you knew
You're going to pick Seth's
where I
horse,
was going to land.
even though she's too slow to win this race.
She'll be in front.
She'll be in front.
Irad Ortiz Jr. will put her in front today.
Okay.
She will be on the lead today.
Okay.
I don't know how that's going to go.
I doubt it happens, but have at it.
Okay. So the race 2 back, when she's 2 lengths off the lead and she parlayed it into a win going to mile 6 at Gulfstream, that race puts her 3 in front in here. And I just don't see anybody else with any intent or any other horses in here. Now, I know she was forward.
Call
in-
Me Love
in-
is
in
going to
the
be
race.
forward in this race. You could be sure of it.
Okay, well, break
You
it
could
from
be
the
certain of it.
inside.
You could be certain
yeah,
of it. If she doesn't get left, she'll be in front. She'll be in front of
She should be.
Bacchanalia.
I think Irad's going to put Bacchanalia on the lead and try and steal the race.
Okay.
And I have love for her anyway.
The only reason I put her 4th is I don't think that's impossible, but here's the problem. I don't think it's impossible that anyone in this race is in front. I don't think it's likely that certain ones are, and Bacchanalia falls more in the category of horses that could be. But I got to tell you, this race is excruciating. Now, I just don't know if Bacchanalia is good enough. But we'll see. And if she goes in front, and I consider it, and I don't like her, but that's a viable possibility. I'm not going to. I think that Miss Tehran is the better of the Chad's horses, and we'll take a look at her winning at Gulfstream 2 back. The reality of her is she didn't do a ton of running last time, but she was 3 wide pretty much the whole way. And she was running against Micheline. And, you know, she didn't have as bad a trip as the Delacour horse that somehow paid $10 while I was at Churchill.
11.
Magic Attitude, right? When she should have
that
been
was that was my bonus winner at Mohegan Sun during the day.
That horse.
$11 she paid. Trevor.
And I'm not sure what to do with Miss Tehran, but I think that she's probably the best horse. But I'll tell you one thing. I would never take 8-5 on anybody in this race because I have no idea how it's going to be run, and I think how it's run is going to have such an effect on who wins.
And isn't it really, like you said, you wouldn't be surprised, she'd probably be the least likely candidate to be on the lead.
Yes.
And that has to mean it hurts her the most.
I don't disagree. That's a
very
valid point.
Taking a bad price, and listen,
a short price.
That field she beat 2 back at Gulfstream.
Then no good.
No bueno.
I agree. No good.
So,
but she's okay. But I don't disagree. And listen, this is a race. My guess is that David, who does he nails more races than anybody I've ever seen. He even probably thought to himself, she's probably going to be fair. But
I'll tell you what, I hope that morning line holds up.
Well, your horse is going to be short. As far as Speak to Me a Summer, we'll go back 3 races to Sands Point. It's very hard to find replays of anybody relatively recently when she had that trouble in the stretch, and she was finishing no better than second. The jury's still out on how good Tamahir is. You know, she was victimized by a slow pace in that stake, but there she is getting bottled up. She's not a speed. There's no question. But she's really no slower than Bacchanalia. As not a speed, she's no slower than Bacchanalia. So I think Joelle could be a little forward, too, depending on they go. You know something? I think this horse is pretty good. And let me just finish.
Go ahead.
Let me just finish.
You put her on top today?
Yes. Let me just finish. Okay. She was victimized by a complete lack of pace last time, but also with a good horse who was the speed. She was victimized by lack of pace in her prior race, also with a good horse who won a Grade 1 her next start. That was the speed. In this race, I don't know that the speeds are necessarily better than she is. And I don't think she's that slow that she's going to be compromised. So that's why I could make a case for her. I don't love anybody in this race.
She will not be. She shouldn't be compromised in here.
Well,
regardless of how it shakes out, she shouldn't be compromised in here because, like you said, Call Me Love is supposed to show some speed from the inside. In all likelihood, she's not worse than third in the early running.
Can I just say, your whole thing was screwed up because I know you picked Tasting the Stars on top. When she scratched, it probably threw your game off.
I did not pick Tasting the Stars on top.
It was a joke.
I know.
You didn't have to answer it.
The race is supposed to line up 5-1-4 or 1-5-4.
I don't think it's supposed to line up that way. I don't agree with you. I think that's a silly assertion. The possibility exists it could. But you're saying it as though it's just...
Well, Bramble Queen has no speed.
Anthony,
your
pace predictions
and
are one of my favorite amusements
Andy.
in life. We'll move on to race number 9. Anthony said the race is supposed to line up. The race is not supposed to line up anyway.
Okay, can I have a lunch to the race is 5-1-4 going into the back stretch?
It's not a question of lunch betting, Anthony. You say an assertion about the most random events I've ever seen. You're like a guy who says, it's supposed to rain on July 11th.
It's
supposed to rain on July 11th.
It's
supposed to rain on July 11th. You just say this random crap.
They have no speed.
Come, stop. Stop.
How does Bramble Queen make the lead?
How did Rob Masiello's horse wire the field with Joelle the other day? She was the 7th fastest horse early. How did Johnny Velasquez wire with that Wesley Ward horse? He's the 3rd or 4th fastest horse early. How do these things keep happening? I don't know, but they're random.
But these aren't horses. Okay, well, the maiden, forget, but it wasn't like Wesley's horse didn't have speed.
It wasn't like Rob's did.
Well, the horse had run twice.
A lot of people grabbed. Around here, the idea that you speak in these absolutes and the most random situations is ludicrous. Anyhow, onward and upwards. Jumpster. Have at it. Oh, you'll be excited to see Scotto back in on Friday. He'll be jumping all
I thought
over.
this horse ran well first time out. Gets a rider upgrade to Junior Alvarado.
How do you
don't have this horse at all?
No, I don't like
Wow.
If I was taking a horse out of that race, I'd be taking Forgotten Mission. I think he's clearly the horse you want out of that race. I think he ran much better than your horse did.
You've
Much.
forgotten.
Not a little better.
Okay.
Much better.
First time Lasix, breaking from the inside.
It's
Jose
not the
Ortiz.
first or last time we'll disagree. I don't like Dumpster, but have at it.
Oh, that was it. Second time, a little improvement. Rider change, going to be a decent price.
I think Triple Americano's better than these horses. Tried a mile two back, couldn't get a mile. Ran a winning race against these, running behind Winner's Laugh. Was wide against a gold rail on February 13th. The reality is the cutback in distance.
You
here.
really think it was the mile two back?
Yes. Yes, I
He
do.
was-
Well, obviously I
He
do.
was bad two
Okay,
back.
you
man.
believe in distance at random times.
No,
I
no,
think
I
it
don't.
matters.
I'm just saying it could very well be the case, but he was bad.
Okay, I like Triple Americano. I think it's the horse to beat, but I'm going to use the two. Kickerland.
Yeah,
We'll look
of
at
course.
Kickerland beating Joey Loose Lips. Do you know Joey Loose Lips?
Nah. No.
You know, somebody told me, and I didn't even ask, that Joey Loose Lip couldn't run at all.
Let me ask you a
for the race.
question. Would
I never even
oh,
asked.
that's right.
It's
Oh,
stores.
yeah.
Stores.
Do you think I would know somebody named Joey Loose Lips? You know what that means, right? That means they keep yapping. Yap. They run their own radio station.
You really never know with Anthony. You know, you just never know
I
exactly
don't
the
deal
kind
with
of
rats.
response you're going to
Joey
get.
Loose Lips, not me. Sorry, buddy.
Maybe it's a joke about somebody who just
Maybe
talks
it
too
is.
much.
That's what it's supposed to mean.
Doesn't mean you're a rat if you talk too much. Relax. Anyhow, having said that, I think Kickerland is perfectly logical in this race.
Yeah.
Don't have anything against him. I'm going to use 1-2-13.
Have we seen any Saffy Josephs off the claim up here? I don't think we have.
I don't know.
See how this works. 24% the last year and a half overall. You have any other just off the that's just the
Off
racing
the
form
claim
stat.
on the dirt with maidens, he's 6 for 17, $1.37 ROI. In sprints, he's 5 for 13, 38%, $1.60 ROI. So they win, but they don't win to their
and
odds.
you know what? And I will steal your line here. 4-1 on the morning line. First
wait.
time off that claim.
Can I bet the 1 over the 9?
No.
I can't bet the-
I'm not betting no lunches in here. You nuts?
You have the 9 on top and the 1 nowhere.
Are you crazy? I want to use 7 horses.
You
in the
know what
last
you're
race.
saying to the public there? That you don't have any
Yeah,
confidence
I don't
in your
have
pick?
any confidence in my selections in the last race. I don't have any confidence in my selections in the last race. There you go. I said it.
You were here for it.
It is now in the annals of time by Temple City. It's all done. Done. I don't have any confidence in the last race.
I got to find out where Annals of Time is.
I don't know.
He might have gone
I don't know where he
overseas.
is. For the record, I'm using 1, 2, 5, Joey Loose Lips,
You're using him, even though you
9,
object to
10,
it?
13. I'm using half the field on the pick 5. So,
Quite a handicapping job.
thanks.
Just because the last race doesn't mean you have to give up. 4 days without me. 4 days without me.
I'll miss you. I'll miss you. Like Wednesday, I'll start getting a little antsy.
We'll talk about that.
I know we'll talk, but we
multiple
don't get to
times.
do this. We don't really, there's not a lot of, when we're on the phone.
Anthony and I get along extremely well, contrary to what some people may think. Why wouldn't we? Anyhow, you need to head over to Naira Bets. You know the drill. NairaBets.com. If you're not a member, use the promo code Belmont25. We'll give you a $200 sign-up bonus and the $25 free bet. Keep the money in the game. Play through Naira Bets. Also, 50-50-50, Belmont, Churchill, and Pimlico. $15 bonus, 50 or more. Belmont and Churchill, you know where you can see them.
Yes.
From 1 to 3 and then 4 to 5:30 on FS2.
Go to YouTube, Naira YouTube channel for that
Naira YouTube channel.
for that
Yeah,
1 hour.
missing
in
hour.
between. They try to sneak Andy in when they're off the air. 3:30 on the YouTube.
I think
and then you put the
we're
TV back on and Andy's there.
We're on somewhere else. So I forget where.
All right. I like that. Is that a new tie?
Oh, I can tell
I
you.
just
where.
noticed this tie.
This?
Is that new?
Oh, I've had this tie for years.
I don't think I've ever. I haven't.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never remarked on it.
Yeah, yeah.
I've
I think
remarked
you,
on it or no?
Yeah, I think you have.
Yeah.
I thought Anthony likes this tie.
I don't remember that tie.
Anthony, I have so many ties that they make one appearance a year, a lot of these ties.
Yeah,
know?
and I hope it's not for a very long time. But when you retire, there's gonna be a pilfering of your tie collection. I can tell you that right now. Hopefully by then I'll be a little more svelte and they'll fit me a little better. So, but yeah, you're gonna be losing a good deal of your the ties that you no longer need for television.
The tie situation on my tie rack is one of the most preposterous things you've ever seen. My
I've
entire life
taken
is
5 or
preposterous.
6 of them from you. I've already taken some of the excess.
They occasionally have nowhere else to go. We're done. Johnny, I'll be up with the reprise scratches and changes. I will see you on the show a little bit later. Have a great day.